Hello everyone. So this is the second video for you. The first video again just pointed you to the right direction in the book. Um, they walk through this using our overnight auto. It's page 213. What I'm going to do in this video is actually walk you through the real comprehensive assignment here, and hopefully to help you and steer you and get you going on this part of the assignment. So this happens to be an Excel version of that. It looks very similar. The totals are all the same, and you should be able to follow from this, or not significant differences. So again, when you pull up that part 3, you'll see the columns here, your trial balance, your adjustments, your adjusted trial balance, and then these columns over here for the income statement and the balance sheet. Now, one thing that I've given you to help you along a little bit is I've included the totals here. So you can see the totals of every column here, for your, so you can kind of get, along. So you're once these columns total to this, you're on the at least on the right track. Okay, so there's a couple different approaches for this. This first column is your trial balance, and these figures came from the original entries before you did the adjustments. This column is going to be for your adjusting entries. So here are your trial balances. And like I said, and like I demonstrated in class, what you could do is you could go back to your original daily transactions and tick all the cash up like that, and then plug it in here, and the net, again, that I showed in class would have been $78,000 if you do that math. Okay, there might be a slightly more efficient way, and in fact, if you were using this sort of worksheet in real life, once you did those, or once you posted those original, the first journal entries, the daily transactions to the ledger, then you would have moved them over here. So one perhaps simpler approach might be to first complete the adjustment column. Okay, here are your adjusting entries, and you should be able, I believe this is part 1B here. So here are all your adjusting entries here. So, and you only have a handful, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You only have about 8 entries here. So for example, then when you would go over here, this entry, this adjusting entry is rent expense and prepaid rent. So then when you go over here under prepaid rent here, we're going to see, you're going to put that credit there. That credit is that credit right there. Okay, so that was your adjusting entry, and that goes right there. And of course, where does the other bit go? The other bit goes right there. Okay, so then when you've put all those adjustments in and you get the totals right there, when you get them to come back to these totals, then a place that you can go to that actually will make this slightly easier and perhaps a little bit quicker is go to your ledgers. And let's see. So here are here in this one, this is the first bit of ledgers. Now, all you really have to do, so in the case of cash here, and there are no adjusting entries for cash, notice that 78,000 is actually right there. Okay, that 78,000 is your balance there. Okay, and that 78,000 can come straight over and go there. Okay, all right. Now notice on the next one though, accounts receivable. Notice that 11,880. Now, one clue, and if you remember, that 1,800 is an adjusting entry. So once you get this all completed, you would find in, oops, I remember, in in accounts receivable, a debit here. If you've done, again, these are your adjusting entries. So I'm going to bring this one over. Here's a debit to accounts receivable, and then rental fees earned. So that's going to appear. Where's accounts receivable? Right there. You'll notice that would be right there. And then down here, here's rental fees earned right there. And that's the total, by the way. Oh, there's another one here. That was another one that you had. Remember, you had two rental fees earned there. There's one. And where's the other one? There's the other one right there. So those are the two that come over there. But these two, I'm going to hide this one again so it doesn't confuse us. But these two, you'll notice, oops, you'll notice here, so you've got those. So you should have, if again, complete those adjusting entries. And then when you go back over, here to your accounts receivable, you know that one right there is an adjusting entry right there. So what the balance was before the adjusting entry was this amount, and that's the amount that's going to end up going right there. So that might be an easier way to get at this problem. And then you just go on and so forth, down this line and completing all these lines. Now, some of these you may not have lines in the trial. Obviously, you don't have any here because you did all adjusting entries for those. Then to complete, then again, once you get them slotted into the right spots, then it becomes rather easy because then you're just adding, for example, here, you don't have any adjustments for cash, so the item is gonna roll into that. Now, in this case, you've got these two, you've got two debits here, one from the original and one from the adjusting entries, and those are going to be actually added there. So notice those two add together to get that. And then you will go on down the line for all of these, just adding up the credits. So for example, that's going to carry over there. Let's see, we probably had a, yeah, no, we had prepaid rent. We had some prepaid rent there. You've got a debit, so that's going to end up. The difference between the two is going to end up right there. Sorry, I get rid of that. Hide that. Okay, and so that's the difference there. That's the net coming out right there of those two. Okay. And then you're going to just go on down and pull these across. And then once you get the adjusted trial balance all done and all pulled across, and you've got these, then you're just pulling the numbers into the appropriate counts. So all of the rental fees earned are going to be pulled over here into this column. So you're going to have entries, you're going to have two entries there, and they're going to sum them all up here. So that's, and remember we had that 5140. So that's going to be on the income statement. You'll fill all of these, what you end up in the adjusted trial balance here, are going to pull into these two columns, and then your balance sheets accounts are going to pull over into here. So we've got cash here, and cash here, and so that's going to end up pulling across like that. Okay, and the way you can check these is you can always check these balance sheet accounts against your ledgers. Okay, so your ledgers. So again, when you get down to the end, that 78 should appear here, and then I'll unhide this one, and then you'll notice here that 1180 is there. Okay, and you're just going to go down the line to that and to get those there. And now the one thing that on these where you do the closing, you'll ignore those. You will ignore those because obviously, let's go back one here. When we look at your at your revenue accounts, where's revenue? It's from page 6 here. I don't know where it is. Where is revenue? I'm looking for rental fees earned. It might be here. I can't find it now. Expense. Here we go. Rental fees earned. Sorry about that. There are your entries. There's your close. So you know this is gonna the close you sort of ignore for this because there's your 51,840 there. So that's what I've got. I hope this is helpful. To have a look and give it a try. And then if you have any questions, please email me. And I hope you have a good rest of your weekend.